peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
The BBI is not a political process.
When you mention or hear Pan-Africanism, think,
please let the president take charge of this. No more bloodshed.
Punchline Africa Television. Here, we're all about events.
Why don't we build cottage industries that can employ so many of these younger men? Why do you bring them to dance with the wheelbarrow?
On a 360 degrees overview on what's making news in Kenya and Africa at large.
A partyless DP risks an impeachment.
What's more, facts matter to us. Join us as we give you the daily punch on things that matter to you. Punchline Africa Television for Africa, by Africans.
Fellow Africans, since 1957, when Ghana gained independence, there has been quite a lot of political, social, economic indicators on the African continent that show that Africa has progressed from pre-independence Africa to post-independence Africa.
Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever. From now on, there is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs.
66 years down the road, Africa finds itself with the first country, Ghana, having gained independence. We find ourselves still locked up, controlled, manipulated, instructed, logistically supplied, equipped by foreign powers that dictate our agenda. Africa is endowed with plenty of minerals, resources, good weather. The climate is so favorable. Here in Nairobi. The show is the African Showdown, and joining me is Professor Jared Onyari, Nairobi, and of course Dr. David Matsanga at our political command center, wherever he is. Good afternoon, Professor Jared Onyari.
Good afternoon to you, Daniel, Dr. Matsanga, and our viewers from wherever they are around the world.
Yeah, thank you very much, viewers. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Daniel, in the general headquarters of Punchline Africa Television. Thank you very much. Today you are on the air springs. So let's go. Thank you very much. This is Africa Showdown, a show that always discusses Africa, a show that brings out issues that touch African countries, a show that actually defends Africa, that What ails Africa? What kills Africa? Why are we having conflicts on the continent of Africa? What is going on? Why do we always want to be in a conflicting situation? President Uhuru Kenyatta last night, yesterday, watching the prayer from far, I heard his words, the words of reconciliation, the words of togetherness, forgiveness, peace, unity. These are the words that we want to deal with. What else can President Uhuru Kenyatta do? But before we do that, let's have the COVID numbers by Daniel. What are they? What do they say? The COVID numbers as it stands in Kenya at the moment. Good afternoon. Back to you in the studio.
Yes,
Nairobi, miles and miles away. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Matsanga, David, and I'll go straight to our COVID numbers as per yesterday. Of course, today's numbers are yet to come out, and today, Kenya, we are at confirmed cases 41,158, and in terms of deaths, we only reported 760 deaths, and recoveries there quite impressive, 31,876. And also we look at the neighboring Uganda, and the confirmed cases at 9,701, dead 93, and recoveries 6,022. We go deep down to South Africa, and the total number of cases is 2,761, and the number of reported death, that is South Sudan, not South Africa. South Sudan, the numbers are 2,761, and the number of deaths 54, and recoveries we have 1,438. Quite an impressive figure there. And of course, perhaps I'll just look at the total numbers in cases in Africa. We stand at 1.5. That is 1,540,446 confirmed cases so far in Africa, and number of deaths in Africa are at 37,125. However, we also have a very impressive number of recoveries there of 1,279,000 and one person who have recovered from COVID-19. Back to you, Dr. Matsanga.
Thank you very much. You can see the figures in Africa. Africa was top. We were told that Africa will have the worst nightmare. And we want to thank God, Jesus Christ, the one who has sailed us through. The figures in Africa don't seem to be the figures that were predicted. But this should not give us any laxity, should not give us a laziness, should not give us the latitude of relaxing, of just saying it is over. It is not yet over until it's over. It is not yet over until it is over. Therefore, wash your hands, keep a distance, wear your mask, don't go where it is not necessary. Keep hygiene, wash your hands. Some people have already forgotten washing their hands, and they are busy, eating food the way they want, busy touching their faces the way they want. COVID-19 could come a second wave. Professor Nyari, before I bring you in, let me greet Nanyuki. Good afternoon, Nanyuki.
Good afternoon, Daktari.
Yes, just a minute. Wesonga cannot hear you. Good afternoon, Nanyuki.
Professor Nyari.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm here.
So tell us, you are there. Tell us about Nanyuki. You are online, boss.
Yeah. Nanyuki is fine, and as you can say, people are having that discussion of COVID-19, and people are very worried of the second wave of COVID-19. And I think tomorrow we are anticipating that most of the parents will not take their children back to school. They form for the class 8 and the grade 4 students. And that is something I think at the benefit of education. They are things, and that is something the residents of this area and the entire region are not well, and they think they welcome that message well. And I think that tomorrow, I don't
Thank you very much. Thanks. Let's come back to Professor Jared Onyari. Test the microphones, my brother. Thank you very much. You can see where Songa is on the platform this afternoon. The guy himself. Thank you very much. Keep it going. I am very many miles away from you, Professor Onyari. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Masanga. And what I have to say about COVID-19 is that the prophets of doom prophesied on what will happen on the streets of Africa. They said that the streets of Africa will be littered with dead bodies, but God has saved us. In Kenya, I will continue to urge people to continue wearing masks, keep social distance, wash your hands. And for the last 2 days, the figures, Dr. Masanga, have been going high, meaning that people have stopped adhering to the protocols given. And what I only urge Kenyans here is that please listen to what the government is saying. We are not yet, the pandemic is here with us, the vaccine has not been found. If there is another time that we need to be more careful, it is now, because we know what to do. That's what I have to say, Dr. Masanga.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Today, because of gender parity, we shall stick to men alone. Miriam should be in tomorrow after taking a few days off, and she will be back tomorrow. But this afternoon, that is COVID-19. Remember the message from the government. Keep on doing what you were told to do. Please, please, don't relax. This could come back. Second wave could come back. London, Washington, Rome, Europe is closing back. It's closing down because of second wave. So don't expect. The planes are coming. They are carrying these passengers. The planes are moving to there. We don't know what can come out of there. So keep washing your hands. Keep washing your hands. I hope the president and the government will hear what parents like that man, what Karanja has said in Nanyuki. People are debating whether they should take their children. Because you can manufacture a vaccine, but you cannot manufacture a child. So that is where the seriousness of it. I happened to bump into the Education Committee of Parliament in a place where they were doing a retreat this weekend. I bumped into them. We had a long discussion. I gave my views, and I think some of them said these views as if you were in our meeting. The views is the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education is flip-flopping. The year is already ended. It's ended. I don't know why the PS Sang is trying to run so much to give contracts. You know, this what will kill this country? And I don't know, this is a topic that I've grouped. What else can President Uhuru Kenyatta do? He can't get a gun to shoot people. What else can he do? He cannot shoot people. President Uhuru Kenyatta cannot shoot people. He has followed the guidelines are there. People don't want, people still sneak, go to churches, people still call people to come when there is an announcement that don't come. So we shall look at that at a certain time. Thank you very much, viewers. Let me go back to the headquarters for newspaper headlines.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Matsanga. David there finalizing for us in terms of the COVID numbers, and of course his call is for the Kenyan people, rather you and me, to observe those measures that have been put there by the Ministry of Health. And Dr. Matsanga, on our headlines today, I'll start with the Daily Nation, and the headline there is Scramble for Raila, and it says that one of the most rival...
Good afternoon.
Yes.
A minute past. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Dr. Matsanga. This is Winnie Mukami. I'm calling you from Nairobi.
Thank you very much. You are online live, so we are looking at the newspaper headlines. And good afternoon, Karanja from Nanyuki.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. I wanted to check whether you are there. Winnie Mukami is in Nairobi. Daniel Wesonga is in the headquarters. Professor Onyari is in the CBD of Nairobi. Dr. Matsanga is at the political command center of Punchline Africa Television, miles away from the headquarters in Nairobi. So the topic we are on is the newspaper headlines. And Wesonga is taking us through the newspaper headlines. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Matsanga, and I'll start with the Daily Nation, and the headline there is a scramble for Raila, and they go down there to say one of the most rivaled men in the last general election is now one of the most sought-after political figures. So perhaps, Dr. Matsanga, you can give us your perspective on that headline as you bring in other panelists who are on board.
Thank you very much. Headline on the Standard. Is it the Standard or the Nation?
This is the Sunday Nation.
The Sunday Nation said Raila is the most. Production team, can you bring that Sunday Nation on or no?
Yes, yes, scramble for Raila, one of the most rivaled men in last year's 2017 general election, is now one of the most sought after political figure. So he tried to create a perception where Raila is the most favorable candidate for a majority of players in the political field. So what is your perspective on that?
First of all, before I put my perspective, let me cross over to Mukami. Mukami, what is your perspective on the Sunday Nation newspaper today? The scramble for Raila. What's your view? Mukami, good afternoon. Karanja?
Yes.
Mukami seems to have disappeared. I don't know why.
He has disappeared, but maybe he'll come back.
Okay, you, as you are there now, what is your perspective in points, chap 1, 2, 3, 4? Don't make long correspondence. 1, 2, 3, 4, yes.
I think that is very true because we know in the political grain of our republic, Raila Amolo, the former prime minister, is named one of the most key players in the matter politics, and I think that people are aligned to get him on their side because we know he is one man who supports you, do what he did. He made Party Georgia and everything settled out, and the party was won that election. And we saw in 2011, it was a very close guy to the president in the past. And I don't think that he also get the one big numbers about 42% of the total casted vote. He's a man who is a team maker, and he can also make himself a team. And I think after President Uhuru Kenyatta, then Raila Odinga remains one of the most key players in the matter of politics now, because even the likes of the deputy president, they will not excited and happy Raila Odinga to get back to support them, because that is more of a sure bet. So if you're supported by Raila Odinga, you are sure that you can get that high in the morning. I think this will continue going on, and as we continue this analysis and analyzing issues, Raila Odinga may be major on every discussion when it comes to matter to general election.
Okay, thank you. Mukami.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we have been looking for you, Mukami. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And I just the last part of the conversation. You're talking about Raila?
No, we are saying Raila is the most scrambled for man so far now. What is your view?
Well, Dr. Matsanga, I want to just state that the Right Honorable former Prime Minister has definitely lived up to his billing. He has in many times been, referred to as an enigma. Yeah, it's on many occasions that he has fought to get to where he is. He has actually sat as a Kenya, we know that 2 years is a very long time. But as it were, indeed, there's a lot of excitement around Raila Odinga. Remember that he is the reason why the conversations around BBI are happening. It is after the handshake that the BBI committee was formed. So I'd like to think that the political folk and all those who are political wouldn't mind aligning themselves on the right side of affairs because they want to be part of the conversation around BBI. So for now, whether he's pumping himself, of course he is. I mean, he was in Lero just the other day, then in Bondo, he carried a group of council of elders. So he's just living his life, right now, because he's a populist, and he has definitely got his feeling.
Thank you very much, a populist. Professor Nyali, Mukami says he's a populist, he's a popular guy, he's an orator, he's a man to watch. And for me, I haven't said my comments, but he's a man to watch in 2022. But 2 years is too far for a prediction of any opinion poll. What is your view, Mr. Professor Onyari?
Thank you, Dr. Masanga, for this topic that we are discussing, that Raila is the scramble for Raila. Dr. Masanga, the Prime Minister and Uhuru Kenyatta are not ordinary Kenyans. They are not like me and Daniel. They are readers of history. Their fathers were the founding readers of this nation. The colonists, the British people, wanted Jaramogi Odinga to be the first Prime Minister and form the government. But Jaramogi Odinga was very categorical, Dr. Masanga. He said, it is Uhuru na Kenyatta and Uhuru. It was true. And indeed, that's what happened. Kenyatta was released. He became the Prime Minister, ended up becoming the president, and Jaramogi becoming the deputy president. They were trusted friends. And I've always said Dr. Masanga as a conflict and peace expert. Dr. Masanga, we must understand the right core issues, the conflict of this country. We must go back and realize where did the lanes start pitting us. And we must be able to play straight politics. And the people in this country, Dr. Masanga, have capitalized on the disunity of Rwos and the Kikuyus, either to thrive in corruption, either to thrive in chaos. So I'm happy that when the Prime Minister and the President met, they agreed, they said, gentlemen, we have to fix the problem and rank this country. There is no need for us to kill each other every other time for election. And I want Dr. Masanga to realize that my brothers and sisters from Mount Kenya, I've realized that we have to go back at independence, try building up and sorting this out. And honestly, Dr. Masanga, that's what the father did. Raila has been on the forefront of fighting for freedom and democracy and respect of human rights in this country. He has been detention. And when he came out of detention, Dr. Masanga, he embraced Daniel Arap Moi and he worked with him. And eventually, Dr. Masanga, in 2002, he came and said, okay, Kibaki Tosha. And we were able to dislodge Kanu. 2007, Dr. Masanga, he won the elections. Although people say, Kreger said nobody seemed to win, but he could have not ended and said that Raila, you have won. But it was a good judge. He said nobody can say you won the election. But we know, those of us who were in this country know what happened. 2017, Dr. Masanga, you saw what happened in this country. The country was heading to division. See the thinking or the narrow thinking of Ndi. Raila emerged as a statesman. He shook hands with the president, and you can see the stability of this country, and you can see what they identified.
Okay.
So Dr. Masanga is a senior citizen of this country. He is a senior leader that you cannot ignore. Even if he does not become a president, it is important that the people go to him to consult him. But I want to conclude with you, he's a man to watch. And when you see an old man seated, he can see far than a young man who's at the treetop.
Thank you very much. A younger man at treetop, an old man seated, both don't see at the same time, at the same place. One sees father. So there you are. The age also sees father. There you are. But for me, thank you very much, all the panelists, correspondents from Nanyuki, Mukami, contributor to this program, and the West Songa. Back to the studio. Before I leave, I want to make my comment. Raila started what we call reconciliation. There's nobody who has suffered more among the Kenyan politicians than Raila Amolo Odinga. There's nobody who has been injured, who has been detained, who has been beaten, who has been tear gassed than Raila Amolo Odinga. The acrimony between the Luo and the Kikuyu seem to be coming to an end. It is the one that people use every day to create chaos in this country. And those who are worried about the unity, those who are worried about the leaders from Kikuyu land going to Luo to seek Raila, are the ones who always create violence, because they stand in the middle and they say, even some of them go to the extent of saying, when there is a war between us and the Kikuyus, it is worse. But between Luo and the Kikuyus, it is not. That is the mentality that the people of Kenya must get rid of. And this is the time to unite this country. What else can President Uhuru Kenyatta do? What else? President Uhuru Kenyatta cannot pick a gun like President Xi Jinping or Jing of China. In China, if you disobey, they shoot you. They give you bullets. Copper bullets lie in your stomach. There is no alternative to misbehavior. There's no alternative to death. In Kenya, there are several alternatives to death. And the president has allowed the democracy. Democracy is flourishing. Democracy to be used. Democracy to be given, to give an example to other African countries. What else do you want Uhuru Kenyatta to do? That is the question that we are pondering today, this afternoon. What else do you want President Uhuru Kenyatta to do? Mukami, I will come back to you. What do you want President Uhuru Kenyatta to do? What else can he do now? Yesterday, he said, if there are people that I have honored, forgive me, and I have also forgiven you. President Uhuru Kenyatta set up a program, a BBI, 9 points of building bridges, an initiative of a strategy of redemption, reconciliation, reparation, restitution, truth-telling, accountability. Healing is the answer. Germany would not be where it is today without healing. Germany would not be a superpower without healing. Germany would not walk across the streets of Europe without healing. Why are we having one person or two people or three people making it difficult for the healing process to work? President Uhuru Kenyatta has done his best. Mukami. Mukami. Let's come back.
Hello?
Yes, Mukami. I think
I'm sorry, I'm muting my mic and forgetting to switch it on.
You better switch it on. What else can President Uhuru Kenyatta do that to bring about unity of this country?
I think the President Uhuru Kenyatta's second term has been one of the most difficult ones, especially because we don't have just local problems, but we now have a global pandemic that has really, stalled a lot of progress on matters that he probably had planned to do moving forward. We had Agenda 4, when, the basic fundamentals that he ran for his second re-election. And he ran on those Agenda 4, which are also within the Vision 2030. But the challenges that were awaiting him in office were immense, including, it called, to redirect the focus of the government. I must say the president is dealing with a very difficult situation where I dare say that there could be some sort of, non-violent kind of revolt, because people are not necessarily doing what they're supposed to do. And that's notwithstanding the economy is also not helping. What I would see the president do, and I think he has been trying to do every so often, every time he gathers to make a public speech, he has been pushing for ideology. For a war on ideology, where we, even if you're to attack the next person, attack them on ideological issues. But right now, we're talking populistic campaign. We're not talking about solutions to the problems that bedevil the country. I must say the president is a very lonely man as it were at this moment, because you cannot be able to run a country by yourself when everybody else seems to have their focus.
Thank you very much. Everybody else seems to be on his own lane. Thank you very much. What can the president do in circumstances of this nature? What else can the president do? I will bring in the people online first. And my friend in Nanyuki, what can the president do?
And thank you very much. And, the president has really done a lot. And I do know after the 2017 general election, the country was very polarized in matters of decisions of that election that was not was quite contested in the Supreme Court after analysis and so on. The demonstrations that were led by the opposition leader then, Raila Odinga, and I do know he as a president, he invited a hand of the unity, a hand of bringing harmony in the nation. And I think that is when the handshake was gone. And after that, the president came up with the ECI, which is a brainchild of the handshake of him and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And they came up with that structure of ensuring that this country is more united even after election, so that we avoid this thing of having to run away, where you see people in the York think that the election is near and it is around the corner and we can to run home. And that we came up with an agenda to ensure those things don't occur, and that the winner is clear to the winner, is the actual winner of that election. And that is one thing that the president has done quite well. And I think it's ensuring that the Queen elders now, they have used that space to extend a hand of greeting to the former president and his all the something that was not happen in that time of president. Therefore, the president has done quite a lot in that center. And I think he should continue pushing for the big guy right now, so that idea that he has then of having a united nation, and I didn't see when he was reiterating the bill. I think he should continue ensuring that this country is united, and yesterday he brought together the chance. Therefore, he has an agenda to ensure this country is made safe even in the during period. And I think the whole is of ensuring that the policy that was going around this country are stopped.
Okay, thank you very much.
Not something when we have a role to play, especially the people who are in government, who can help to work for the people. And I think also the other thing that he should do is ensure that he realizes the agenda, and that is the big four agenda, and that he's doing quite well, and he should continue doing it, that when he leaves office of the president, he ensure that this country has really transformed, and that he is doing quite a lot to manage construction and so on. I think that is what he should focus on, and he should also continue preaching peace and ensuring that he realizes his agenda, so that the president will come after him, will have a platform, will have a manual to see what to do and how to continue doing those
Okay, thank you very much. Wesonga, your view.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Matsanga. And of course, personally, I feel like whatever President Uhuru Kenyatta is doing is what a leader of his stature should be doing, concentrating on service delivery. Remember, President Uhuru Kenyatta was given a second term by Kenyans in order for him to be able to deliver on the promises that he made under the Jubilee Party manifesto. And as a leader engaging in the politics, retrogressive politics of the day at the cost of Kenyans' prosperity will be quite a misdeed in terms of governance. And of course, we've seen him being very consistent on working on projects. He has come up with the Big Four agenda. We are seeing a lot of infrastructural projects coming up. We have seen him moving around the country, inspecting projects. And as Karanja says, that is what, as a country, that is what, as a leader, we need to see from President Uhuru Kenyatta, other than the divisive politics of the day. And of course, yesterday he extended an olive branch, and he asked for forgiveness for whoever he might have hurt in the course of politics. You know, politics are very abrasive, and you never know whoever you might maybe disagree with in certain terms. And he said, and also for those ones who feel that he might have maybe erred them, he asked for forgiveness. And that is the spirit of a nation. That is the spirit of the handshake. That is the spirit of bringing unity and long-lasting peace, even as we head to 2022. I think from my perspective, if I sum it up, President Uhuru Kenyatta is on the right track of uniting Kenya and ensuring at the same time we have the right amplitude and the right pace for development and prosperity.
Thank you very much. As we talk right now, the Deputy President has just been in one of the churches in Bukambani, in Machakos, where he went for a prayer service. There is something that I want to ask you all on the panel, as a panel. Is there some sense of defiance that the Deputy President is actually using completely? Is there any hope that His Excellency, the Deputy President, will realize that President Uhuru Kenyatta has 2 years to finish, and therefore he has to finish? Because I see a very dangerous scenario building up. We thought yesterday we were cooling it down, but there is that spirit in the Deputy President, Deputy President William Ruto, having this stamina of arrogance, of saying, I'm going there. I know I'm going there. What can they do? If they want, they can do what? Even advertising forcefully. There are some people are running these meetings. Do we see any chance of coming back together, Onyali?
Thank you, Dr. Masanga, for asking me that good question. And the question we are dealing with, what else can President Uhuru Kenyatta do for peace in Kenya? And as I connect it to your question, Dr. Masanga, President Uhuru Kenyatta has got so many options. So many options at his disposal. He has the constitution, and he has got the instruments of power. I don't have, nobody else has those. The constitution, he has the constitution, and the constitution allows him to tell anybody. The deputy president was asked in the cabinet the other day. He did not have an answer to any of the question which was being asked. You are saying, is it an act of defiance? Yes. If he is so religious as he is masquerading as to believe, the late President Daniel Arap Moi was a president in this country. But we will consistently see him going to his local church, Kabarak, every other Sunday. Only once you can see him going to other churches. But what is this business of the deputy president loitering the country, roaming the country from church to mosque? Dr. Masanga, That is an act of the highest of defiance. I have said the president has got instrumental power, and I want to believe Dr. Masanga. Yes, it is not the deputy president who nominated Kenyatta to be his president, but the President Kenyatta nominated and appointed him to be his deputy. He must tell him in categorical, you support me for the remaining 22 months, or if you are not of that opinion, you can go outside and you do all the campaigns. I know, Dr. Masanga, that we have got men and women in this country. The other day, we have been struggling how people can come for the meeting, and yet, Dr. Masanga, the laws are there. So we must be able to be fidelity to the law. And whoever is not following any of the laid down laws of this country, Dr. Masanga, he has to be dealt with. So asking whether the president has got the options, he has so many of them. Did you know that he had an option of reaching out to the prime minister and they come up with 90-point agenda? You never knew, but they came together. So the president has got so many options of even reaching out to ensure that this country remains united, to ensure that the redemption strategy works, Dr. Masanga, and to ensure that he midwife the BBI. So what they need to do is to call his junior, who is the deputy president, who is clerk, who Tobiko said he's a clerk and this is a clerk, and tell him to his face that I don't want to hear this. And I'm sure Dr. Masanga, anybody else obeys his boss. If you don't obey lawful command coming from your boss, Dr. Masanga, you cannot rule out of an action being taken out. The president can go back to the party and plead his case on what's happening to the deputy president, that he cannot be able to deliver to the people of Kenya as he has promised. He cannot be able to deal with his four agenda, big four agenda, as he had promised. What has been the obstacle? We are not reading from the same script with my deputy president. I consider him to be very defiant. And I'm sure Dr. Masanga, action will be taken. The president has got options of calling members of parliament. Dr. Masanga, we are talking about arbitration, what it is. Both the members of parliament from oppositions, from Jubilee, he also have an engagement and a conversation. And I'm sure the members of parliament will be able to help him the way out, even if it is going into an extent of impeaching the deputy president. So be it. Because we must lay a basis. I'm telling you, let us focus on this. This is what you see him doing. We are fighting COVID-19. He is the one who is leading the masses not to obey the protocols given. Dr. Masanga, if I were the president, I've got so many options. I can even call an eminent person to advise me what to do, where the deputy president sits. But I want to tell you, when they were discussing the security laws in the cabinet, the deputy president was not able to answer any of the questions. He remained mum. I submit, Dr. Masanga.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
Yes, Dr.
The deputy president has been on a collusion road. I want to lay my case. Our role is to lay a case. Our role is to put facts as they are.
Oh, yes.
As a media, we can see the analysis. The president says no church service. The church services can be conducted under the COVID-1 regulations. The deputy president does not like it. The deputy president waits in presence of MPs allied to him. They insult the president. They belittle the president. They call the president names. The deputy president has also formed a clandestine media, social media operatives that write his Twitter, who insult the president, the party, and the government of the Republic of Kenya. The deputy president has gone further to introduce in Jubilee Party a situation that has never been accepted by most Jubilee members. Therefore, makes it difficult for Uhuru Kenyatta to perform. The deputy president has gone further to abscond on international level, national and international scene, duties that were supposed under the Constitution. For example, attending COVID in a situation of a war zone. You can't abandon your president.
Right.
He has done that.
Sure.
The deputy president has gone further to involve himself in corruption-related crime, not crimes, but criminals. Do you realize that in this country, every criminal who is called as having taken money gets payments of bail, gets assistance of court fees from the deputy president's office and side. That's a very serious insubordination of work. The president is fighting corruption. The deputy president is calling corrupt people to come to his office.
To take money.
And to be with him in the company. They were given a mandate to fight corruption. One is fighting corruption. One is telling DCI, I want a report. The other one is telling DCI, your report is stupid. Because you are touching my friend, you are touching my sister, you are touching my concubine, you are touching this. These things are happening. Time has come now. Time has come now. Kenyans need the services. Kenyans have a right to petition. You don't need MPs to wait. You need to petition. Is your deputy doing your job? Is he doing the job that he was appointed to do? The rest can be sorted as a bill, as a petition of, you are entitled as Kenyans. You can't divide this country. You can't go on the platform of division, of calling a Tutsi versus a Hutu by saying you hustlers versus dynasty. That's a violation. That is a violation. And clearly, international law will catch up with somebody very soon. If you think Matanga talks without knowing what is going on, then you go to Angel Gabriel or go look for a transformer and hang yourself very quickly. I have never gone wrong on international law. I stood for these two gentlemen. I lost everything, and that's why I'm here, still on social media. They are there. I'm happy at least President Uhuru Kenyatta is alive. He's not in jail. I'm happy that Ruto is alive. He's not in jail. 10 years, 13 years ago, people did not want to look at my face. People did not want to look at my face. So I feel angered. I feel angered when somebody wants to stop me from saying what I said at the time that served these people. Nobody wanted to hear about Ruto. Nobody wanted to hear about Uhuru Kenyatta. Nobody wanted to hear about Ocampo 6. Everybody was saying, let them go. Harwale, who Mudama made a statement to say, let them go quickly. There are so many Kenyans who is enjoying the helicopters today. Who is enjoying the money? I don't have a house. I have never paid a house. I have never been given a present. I am the same fighter. I'm the same man. Look at me. I'm proud. Because there's nothing you can attach me to, which is immoral. These are my friends. I did a job for them. I did not have a contract with them. But I came as a Pan-African, stood firm as a Pan-African. Show me one Pan-African who stood with these people. The younger man in Tumbi, I am the one who put him on a plane. He didn't know how to use cutlery. He did not know how to use a fork and a knife. I'm the one who took him on the first flight. Don't be stupid and tell people lies. I was the one who took you to the Hague. You didn't know Hague. So don't masquerade here and tell people you know you can write Twitter handle which is going to confuse people. And bring another chaos. This country is, if we don't take a step back, we are heading where we were. Uhuru Kenyatta has put the laws. The laws of Kenya are there. Follow them. What else can he do? It's what we have just elaborated. The people of Kenya are fed up of complete stories every morning. Stories on the newspapers that bring agony. There is no hope. There are so many good things that the Jubilee Party is doing, but there is no hope. You don't see the stories on the newspapers. I'm talking as a person who was born much earlier than all of you. Some of you in leadership. I was here before you. But see what you are doing. See what you are doing to this nation. See what you are doing where you are taking this nation. Your Excellency, Deputy President, look again in the mirror. Where are you taking this nation? Matanga is aging. I want to be able to climb those planes. It takes me hours to walk to that plane. Again, where are you taking this nation? Where are you taking this nation, you? Where are the elders of this country? Where have they gone? Where have they gone? Some of us have lost everything in life. Our countries have been wrecked earth to earth policy. We know what a conflict is. Why are you heading? Why are you taking this country to chaos? Because you want to lead. What about if God has not prepared you to lead? What will the country do? Why bring class struggle? Why are you bringing class struggle in this nation? This nation has no social contract to rely on to create a basis of a class struggle. Hallelujah! The bishops who get this money, where did you get this money? Which you don't end, which you go on dishing in the churches. Where did you get it? You have used the mafia style to obtain money. You have money now. You want to destroy everybody. Where are we heading? I came here only the voice in 2007, 2008. I was the only voice. President Uhuru Kenyatta, look at my face. I was the only face who was on TV telling Kenyans there is a problem. Why are you doing this to this nation again? Why? I'm not a Kenyan. I can go away and live very happily. I can live very happily. water? Where's the electricity? Where there is everything? Where's the transport? I don't need my car. I can live. But where are you taking this nation called Kenya today? I struggled for it. I was a lone ranger. The people who wanted you to go down are the people benefiting today. Are the ones you are calling to your houses to give money to go and cause more chaos. Tomorrow they say, no, we don't know anything. The Moses couriers are many who know that they bought witnesses. There are very many. The Mulukomen, Senate, the Sang, who wrote statements incriminating you. The Hassani Omars, whom you are giving money to mobilize Mombasa. Do you remember them? Do you remember them wanting to even kill me? Do you remember them plotting to kill me? And for the sake of the 6 whom I knew were innocent, whom I struggled so hard, I talked my voice. It's not a lie. Go back and play those steps. And now tell me why you want to destroy this country again. Tell me. I don't want to break it down to cry tears. The next thing I can do is to leave. That's all. Or close and go. But where are you taking this country? Your Excellency, take responsibility. Step out and take responsibility. If the Deputy President Ruto does not want to listen, let him shape up and go and make his party or stay in the party. Wakenya mwanze kuzungumza hiyo mazungumzo. Si kuzungumza mazungumzo ya Harvey, Nelson Harvey, to say you want to go and invade a parliament. You are practicing a song. Why are you practicing a song to destroy your country? This is the only country in East and Central Africa that we look at as a hub of activities that we would like to emulate. Why are you doing this to Kenya? I don't think we need anybody else needs to discuss this. My message is very clear now. Thank you very much, all of you. Let's cut it to that level. My message is clear. If I did not do it, then let God cut my hands. If I did not stand, if I did not eat, drink coffee the whole day, fighting Wazungu in international agencies, let God cut my hands. And you people have both hands, have them, and enjoy disrupting the country. Do it. It's your country. I've done my best. I've done my best. I'm not going to fight. I come from a conflict where I've lost my father and my wife. But I have shaken hands with the killers, and I'm okay. What else do you want me to say? What else? If you want to take your country to the dogs, Kenyans, take it yourselves. Take it. I've done my best. I've done my best. I want to thank you very much, viewers. Let's have an interview of 10 minutes, of 2 minutes. Bring in that in a video for 5 minutes. Then we go to the next chapter, please. I don't think there is anybody who can say more than what I've said on this show. I think you do agree, Professor. That is what I've said. If these guys don't know that I did this for them, it's up to them. But God will pay me in a price which I don't know.
He has already paid you because you have got the gift of life, Dr. Masanga. You are still alive to see this, to see how human beings are never thankful.
Let's take an interview.
What did Jesus Christ do to people? He fed them, he healed them, he raised the dead. But in the end, they asked for Barnabas. Give us Barnabas. So, Dr. Masanga, let us be focused. To do all that is right. That's what will come to be remembered of. Service to humanity.
The BBI is not a political process.
When you mention or hear Pan-Africanism, think,
Please, let the president take charge of this. No more bloodshed.
Punchline Africa Television. Here, we're all about events,
Why don't we build cottage industries that can employ so many of these younger men? Why do you bring them to dance with the wheelbarrow?
on a 360 degrees overview on what's making news in Kenya and Africa at large.
A party-less DP risks an impeachment.
What's more, facts matter to us. Join us as we give you the daily punch on things that matter to you. Punchline Africa Television for Africa, by Africans.
Good afternoon, viewers. I want to take a few minutes in the Africa School of Thought. I want to say a few points regarding the situation of the Chief Justice in the Republic of Kenya. The Chief Justice is part of the governance of the people of Kenya. He is one arm of the governance of the Republic of Kenya. The Chief Justice.
Back to our next session, the Africa that concerns the entire African continent. Ladies and gentlemen, the question that Wesonga can put to the members of the public who are watching Punchline Africa television all over the whole world, all over Africa, is the question that I have. Is African Union destined to fail? Is African Union? Wesonga, take it over from there.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Matsanga. And when you look at Africa, and more specifically the African Union, the question is AU sabotaged and destined to fail? Of course, we've been having a lot of discussion on this particular television about the leadership of the AU, and even as they are prepared to head to the next election, we still have some worries, we still have some concerns that perhaps the AU is not doing just quite enough in terms of instilling leadership in the African continent. And that is now the root of our discussion here this afternoon on Punchline Africa TV. And maybe if I could just bring in Winnie Mukami to give her view on this particular question of the African Union. Is it sabotaged and destined to fail? What is your perspective, Winnie Mukami?
Winnie Mukami seems to have left.
Okay, Professor Jared Onyari can come in, and then we shall go to Javan Karanja, and then of course Dr. Matsanga will be winding it up for us here on Punchline Africa TV.
Thank you, Daniel. The question before us is Africa Union sabotaged or destined to fail? It is not only destined to fail, it's already a failure, Dr. Daniel. Reasons being that as the African Union, we have discussed from time to time that we seem not to be having an agenda for the continent of Africa in this point in time. the leadership of the African Union as currently constituted, it means there's someone who pulls the strings. African Union as it stands now, Daniel, just doesn't have a strategy for the continent of Africa.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Masanga.
Yes, you are back now. And
apologies, my phone went off. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, this is regarding we are now discussing the African Union. Can you read the question again?
Yes, welcome Winnie Mkami. Welcome back, Winnie Mkami. And of course, we are now discussing the issue.
Professor, you hold on.
Yes, we are discussing about the African Union, and the question is the AU sabotaged and destined to fail? I don't know what is your perspective on that, Winnie?
Winnie?
Yes, Dr. Masanga?
You have heard the question?
I haven't had it well, but I can imagine it's because of the policies that we are facing as the EU in terms of meeting up lines.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the question?
The question is, is AU designed to collapse or to fail? Because we have now huge complaints around the whole Africa about the selection of the new chairperson. People lost their applications, were all lost. There are conflicts in Africa which are mushrooming. The one in Mozambique, the DRC Congo, Mali, elections, the beating of elections, the irregularities in elections. There's so many things. AU seem not to be giving a direction as a body on what we should do with some of the things that are post-COVID, results that are coming out. So, is AU again designed to fail? As founding fathers would have come back on earth, what would they say about the current AU situation?
Well, Dr. Masanga, I would like to look at AU as an institution that brings together all the African countries. So it is an institution first, then of course it has the membership. And when we have challenges such as those that we are finding right now, I know every institution has got a mandate, it has got principles of engagement, it has got exit classes, it has, points of redress. So I would like to find out, have we exhausted every point that we need to go to be able to address the current challenges that we're facing? And how many people are for and how many others are against the situation as it were right now? Because we need to have people who can be able to lobby against a wrong. And if the wrong becomes adamant, then we need to have a way of exiting. Because we have had, countries where they have had to impeach, for example, presidents, they have had to impeach prime ministers. So I would not want to say that the institution is meant to fail, because there's so many other good things that the AU has been doing for this country. There's so many treaties that have been signed under this umbrella. There's so many contracts and so many, documents that governments have endorsed in the meetings of this AU. So the AU cannot fail because of an individual or a group of individuals who have opted to go against the principles of the institution. So I say, let us revisit the institution, find points of interest, and address the matter. Because if you look at the matter more as a political thing where we are out and about looking for who to be elected, then we will not be doing a lot of service to the AU. Because the AU is not a political party.
Thank you very much. AU is not a political party, it's an institution. But it's the institution following the guidelines. It's the institution following the charter. What does the charter of the African Union say? Let me open up here. African heads of state, those watching me and those whom I have tagged, there is a very serious and dangerous situation that is taking shape in the African Union in Addis Ababa. The selection of a new chairperson and endorsement by countries that have divided themselves into blocks of endorsement of a continuation of Mr. Muhammad Faki as the secretary, the chairperson of African Union is a worry. Several people made their applications and the applications were not received. The applications were not acknowledged. The applications were lost. The man sends out a letter himself. The only candidate left. It is like the candidature of ICC chief prosecutor. The same game, the same tactics, the same countries that don't want Africa to unite are doing what it is to damage this institution. There are several complaints as we speak now of over 10 candidates who applied for the job and their applications were not accepted, received, or given to acknowledgement. So what do you think of this institution? It's an institution that comes to tell you your elections were not very good. But at the same time, yes, yes?
Dr. Matanga, every process should be auditable, and I want to believe that there is always oversight on some of these things. And if we have an oversight committee or an oversight outfit within the AU who are mandated with the responsibility of addressing these particular challenges, then we would expect that the first point of redress is to audit the process of having elected or getting anybody into whatever position within the organization. So I would suggest that all countries that are against the current status quo to carry out an audit of the process and to give a report, after which, of course, I want to believe the charter has got instruments of justice, in it. Another thing is that the AU, the objective of the AU, reform AU, was to reach the success of the remaining, colonization and apartheid elements. To promote unity, solidarity, nothing to do with intensifying cooperation for development, and then to safeguard the sovereignty of each territorial, each country and its integrity. So if we begin to go against the very rules in which we have formed the institution by, then we shall be having an internal war that is worse than colonization of a country.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mukami. We think you have said it all. And let's turn to Professor Jared Onyari. Professor Onyari, if he's available. Yes, Professor Onyari.
I want to say that African Union was formed by the African for the African people to bring unity and solidarity among the African people to fight for our independence. But Dr. Masanga, I want to say, without being apologetic, that the leadership of African Union as it is constituted now, it is controlled outside the continent of Africa. And to hit the arm on the nail, it is being controlled by France. And this is what I have to say, Dr. Masanga. If Organization of Africa Union, the African Union as it is now, was formed to reparate the countries of Africa to get their independence. Dr. Masanga, I will continue from every forum I stand to ask, why is Western Sahara being colonized by Morocco? Did Morocco get out of the African Union? Yes. Has Morocco come back to African Union? Yes. Is it still colonizing Western Sahara? Yes. Is Western Sahara being recognized by the African Union? Yes. Dr. Masanga, a clear contradiction. And as you have said now, that the leadership now of the chairperson, Dr. Masanga, the fees starts rotting from the head. How dare people make application? Don't you even acknowledge these are the people who applied? We see them. And then there's a right that they were not shortlisted for fairness and for transparency. Then you can see someone who is putting these strings. And I've said that the African Union and Dr. Masanga has failed to create a union for the African people to be proud of. Are we proud that we belong to the continent of Africa? No. African people never seem not to know about the African Union. Dr. Masanga, African Union has failed even to promote intra-regional trade. You can see East Africa, what's happening. Every other country, SADC, ECOWAS, do we speak even the same voice? Dr. Masanga, even the recent election for the Director General for World Trade Organizations, thank God that the Nigerian did as second, and we congratulate her. Where was African Union to hover leadership and the chair, the two candidates that now let us give this leader a chance? So, Dr. Masanga, African Union is not destined to fail, it has already failed. And the way you have eloquently appealed to African leaders, African presidents, and ministers, save Africa Union. That is the only body that we have to speak for the continent of Africa. Don't allow Africa Union to be controlled from Paris. And Musa Mohammed Fak, Dr. Masanga, we said, yeah, that we should pursue this. Dr. Masanga, as I've said always, and appeal to my African people, that we have got work to do. And the fact that we have identified this, we should vigorously tell the people of Africa through Punchline Africa TV and other media that all is not well at our African Union. Dr. Masanga, as we speak up to now, African Union doesn't have its financial resource. It depends from our side. So, Dr. Masanga, African Union, from where I stand, it needs a redemption strategy. We need to put our heads together. We need to have a conversation. We need to have a debate and engagement and a conversation on what we need to do with African Union. Otherwise, as it is constituted now, it can easily unfold, Dr. Masanga.
Yes, quite a deep comment from Professor Jared Onyari there about the African Union. I don't know if Javan is on. Javan, what is your take on the status of the African Union? Is it destined to fail as an organization, or maybe do you feel that it is meeting its mandate as expected by the African people as well as the member states?
Yeah, thank you very much, Doctor. And I want to say this, that the initial process of constructing of having the African Union, it was meant to ensure that the African continent is common in terms of political, social, and economic welfare. That it's like, I'm not saying that it's failing, but what it's doing is like it has no leadership. The leadership is failing the African Union. That is why it's not vibrant to a lot of issues that is affecting the African continent. So when they come to fight over terrorism, I think that it should be more vibrant to ensure that the state is controlled there, to ensure that there's harmony in the borders of our African continent, like Kenya and Somalia, and those in Nigeria, the Boko Haram. Those are the kind of things that they should ensure that we have, and they should drive into occasion to ensure that kind of things are realized, and that kind of terrorism that won in the African continent. They also do the kind of sanctions which also like to ensure that some of the countries economic and illegal trade between the African countries. And I was telling you, this kind of other blocks like ECOWAS and so on, there's a kind of a difficulty to trade and the African community to trade with the people from the Western Africa. And they should ensure that we have a kind of a free market so that the economy of the African, all the African countries improve. And that is what I think that was the aim and one of the bigger aims to ensure that African knows that it is not a continent, it's not a land from other continents. I think we need to ensure that we have a good leadership at the helm of African Union. Then I think everything falls in order. Because we know it's a bigger party, it was quite a good organization that champions for the interests of Africa. But today it's quite a big, and I think the problem with the leadership and the African heads of we should ensure that they bring it to like that one of 1960, when it was a kind of a good organization that ensured that all African countries are liberated from the yoke of colonialism, and that's something that we want to see, because the forefathers had a dream to ensure that Africa is united, and I think that is just the attending principle to ensure Africa is united in terms of economics, so that it can grow economically, even politically, so the kind of extension that we have in the African continent, we should ensure that they have the observers in time, so that we have a credible election here to avoid the kind of conflict that erupt after elections in our continent. Thank you, Danny.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So, Mukami, viewers,
Yes, Matanga.
that is the situation of African Union.
Hello.
That is the situation of African Union. You're parting short.
I think my nothing short on matters to do with conflicting institutions. I don't think it is the end of the world. It is just a case of do we have voices of freedom within that can be able to bring out this issue without taking extreme positions. Just like the previous speaker has spoken, it's about having a diplomacy amongst ourselves. Remember that we are now preaching the gospel of Pan-African. And if as the AU we cannot be able to hold the rules and regulations that we set ourselves, then I don't know what we're talking about when we say that we are just Pan-African. We're talking about bilateral trade within us, which is definitely a way to go. It hasn't started yesterday. It is something that has always been there. But are we now negotiating towards the right front? Do we need to import, a product from Europe that you can be able to get within? Can we have the multilateral trade agreement, for example? One of the speakers spoke about Morocco. Morocco is a country that already has so much, favor in the European world when it comes to exportation of their products. Can we get to the point whereby they're agreeing at that level to expand our trade? If you speak to any citizen of any country in Africa, the most important thing is ease of doing business. The most important thing is being able to live up to their ideas and their vision. As the government and the leadership of any nation should be able to provide an environment that is conducive and enabling its citizens to live up to their fullest ability. And in return, the government will be able to reap the ripple effect. So in my opinion, I would say we should not look at any challenges or conflicts in an institution with political lenses. Let us look at it from, challenges that we can come up. And with the AU, there is hope. And I know that there are voices in Africa. Our president being one of them.
Okay, thank you very much. Mukami, Professor, you're parting short?
Dr. Masanga, this is what I have to say in our discussion about Africa. There is no doubt that Dr. Masanga, there is work to be done in the continent of Africa. And this is the time for men and women from the continent of Africa to rise to be the true Pan-Africanists, so that we live to the principles and the wishes and the objectives of the formation of Organization of Africa Unity, now Africa Union. I would only appeal to the African leaders and African president, all is not well from the African Union leadership. And we are not asking for too much. We are only asking for transparency. We are trying to ask for accountability. We are trying to ask for integrity. We are asking for rule of law and democracy in the way we do our day-to-day activities or dealings. You cannot expect African continent to flourish in terms of rule of law and democracy if the persons charged with the administration of African Union can put away the applications of other leaders who want to over their name and their credentials to be considered to be the chairpersons of African Union. So on that one, Dr. Masanga, we see the tests of good governance failing. You can see rigging taking place. And that's why sometimes, Dr. Masanga, we have seen no commitment from African Union when it comes to rigging of elections, over the overthrowing like the recent case in Mali. So Dr. Masanga wishes to go an extra mile to continue having this engagement, discussion, and debate, so that we bring more people on board. We shall never stop until African Union, Dr. Masanga, is reformed. I submit, Dr. Masanga.
Thank you very much. Karanja.
Thank you very much, Dr. Masanga. And I think Africa is a continent, and we should make sure that we bring togetherness of all African countries, so that the economy, even the social welfare of our people in this continent, is able to grow well. And that's the dream that we feel like all heads put their heads together and make sure that they champion for one cause that will ensure that the African continent is great, and that they should ensure that even the use of trade, so that the products that are produced in Africa, there's a good market in Africa where even the products produced in Kenya, they can be sold in the Western African countries or the Northern African countries, and that is the way the economy of our countries is growing. And the African continent should ensure that we also have after having kind of economic recovery strategy that will ensure all African countries are able to get a kind of growth in terms of economics. They should ensure that we have a political stability where we do away with this kind of political shenanigans that allow the African continent into a kind of a dilemma where elections that the government that are formed are not well considered in the category of elections. And I think Africa is a great continent. We have what it takes to be great, like the European and the Asian continent. I think it's a matter of time. Like if they champion, the leaders, they should ensure they champion for a comfort of unity and prosperity, like what Muammar Gaddafi was doing and Kwame Nkrumah was doing in 1960, so that our continent will remain vibrant and we have that voice and a stature to compete even with other continents at the higher level in terms of leadership and the global kind of entities and organizations. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much. Back to you, Ms. Songa.
Yes.
Make your comments and then I make my takeaway.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Matsanga. And of course, I've listened to all the panelists, and whatever comes out clearly is that the African Union has failed the African people. It has not delivered on its mandate. Africa is still suffering from a very widespread ethnic conflict. Africa is still grappling with poverty. Africa is still suffering from disease and hunger. Africa is still suffering with the matters of hygiene and also unemployment. And therefore, there is need for African people to really go back on the drawing table and be able to come up with a body, or rather reinforce those faults that are there in the African Union, so that at the end of the day we shall have a very vibrant body, a body that is able to advocate for the issues that are affecting the African people in their daily life, like the public goods, which African people really need the most, especially at this moment when you're having the coronavirus pandemic. So my parting shot is that we need to reevaluate the African Union. We need to take it back from the hands of the Western powers, which have taken it hostage. We need to put up a body that speaks of Pan-Africanism, something that has been always advocated for on this channel. And with that, we shall be able to address the problems that are facing the African people, and also be able to talk about the future prosperity in terms of economic, social, health, as well as political for our people and the continent of Africa. That is my parting shot, Dr. Matsanga.
Very well. Thank you very much. Viewers, we have this afternoon discussed a number of issues ranging from the country of Kenya regarding the situation, the politics, the management of the political divisions that have erupted in Kenya's ruling party. We have gone further to discuss implications. All these point up to one summary: a conflict. If not stopped, if not disrupted and brought to order, it could breed a very dangerous terrain in the social, economic, and the welfare of this country. Two, on the African Union, the wind has blown south. For an organization of that integrity to actually lose all documents of other institutions, people who apply, it tells you the type of rot that we have. And therefore, we want to thank all of you listeners. There's nothing much to say. You have heard from the panel. And we have done our best. Our role is to highlight the obstacles, the difficulties that this Kenya faces and African Union faces. And that's what we have done ably this afternoon. I want to thank you all. I want to thank Daniel for having taken your time today to be in that studio, since Miriam is not, is coming. She was off, hopefully tomorrow. And we hope you can do the same throughout the week until Miriam arrives. If there is time, you talk to the general manager. He's up there, wherever you are. You will find out a solution so that you can keep the chair warm.
Yes.
You never know, it can be permanent chair. So thank you very much, Karanja, in Nanyuki. I was away, but I'll talk to you on that, on one or two things tomorrow. Karanja? Mr. Karanja? Karanja? Okay, thank you very much, viewers. God bless you. That is all I can say in the studio. Back to you in the studio.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much to our viewers here in Kenya and across Africa. This has been the Africa Showdown, a show that comes to you every Sunday from 2 p.m. And now it is 12 minutes to 4 p.m. and that marks the end of this show. Let's meet again tomorrow for our morning shows. Here you will be with Dr. Masanga David and among other topics that we shall be have lined up for you in the course of the day. Have a good evening and enjoy the rest of your weekend. From our headquarters here in Nairobi, Kenya, I'm Sean Wesonga.